One in the world, but after this month will no longer be. Zhendong to start off in this best of 7 love all. So things you should know about Zhendong and what sort of pressure is on him. Well, one, he was beaten by Dima last time they played in the semifinals in Germany. 2, if Dima wins his first match of this tournament against Koki Niwa, he will be world #1. But last time they played, Koki Niwa won that match, and it was at the World Championships in Germany. Now, if Dima loses to Koki Niwa, for some reason, as Zhendong stretches out, it's rare to see. Have to hope he's okay. I know everyone would love to see this match, and more importantly, everyone would love to see their favorite players healthy. Strong start for Chhuani here. I was gonna say, if Dima loses his first match, the only way he will not be #1 in the world is if Zhendong wins this tournament, which he is arguably a strong favorite to do. So the plot really does thicken. Again, Zhendong has to win every match in this tournament, and Dima has to lose his first. So that means, if there's so many different ways to say this, but if Zhendong loses this match, Dima is automatically #1 in the world. If Zhendong loses any match, including the final, Dima will be #1 in the world regardless of his results in this tournament. That's how well his year has been going. It's like showing up for a final, or it's like coming into a final with such a high grade in a class, you don't even need to take the final. Even a 0, and you can still end up getting an A in your class. That's the story here. CHUANG Chih-Yuan, a very streaky player, very aggressive player. Both sides, one of very few players that keeps up with the Chinese pace of play in the counter-looping game. You have to love that step behind attack. The right foot came behind, backed up to create room to get that full stroke right near the back of the table. Solid forehand flip, but Zhendong is there. So 3 quick points in a row for Zhendong. It's interesting, a lot of fans like to know which Chinese players speak the best English. Zhendong has really impressed me. I think he's moved up to #4 on the Chinese national team for the men. In terms of his English, that is. I discovered after the German Open that when he's not so nervous, he can be quite comfortable to speak English. Chhuani, on the other hand, fluent in English. His mom told him to take lessons when he was quite young, and he played in Europe for a long time as well. This can be a very effective serve. A bit shorter on the table to the forehand side. Light underspin with the pendulum serve. But again, the contact tough to read. You'll notice most of the players at this level don't follow through on their serves. Very subtle contact, try to stop at the point of contact. That cannon backhand, very quick. Zhendong manages to get so much backswing from very little motion. That flip pays off this time. Chhuani's gone for that forehand flip a few times. Against players like Zhendong, it's so important to keep him out of position behind the table. If he gets the first attack, you're ducking hot water. Now, like Timo said, the new ball does tend to favor the more experienced players. CHUANG Chih-Yuan, between the two out there right now, is definitely the more experienced player, being the top player from Taiwan for a good decade and a half. A little bit late to come in for the push, pops it up, and it's tied up. Soft hands, Fan Zhendong. That touch game. Oh, back edge of the table, a break for 20. Oh, smart placement, steps around and takes the risk. The attempt to get back into position if he goes cross court. It's the safer shot and it buys him more time to get back, but he goes for broke here. Says, you know what? Fan Zhendong's deep in the backhand court. I can't afford to play it there. And that face, watching Fan Zhendong's face, I wonder if he's in pain. He's been stretching out that left leg. We saw him down around the knee, maybe just over. Oh, cracking forehand from the middle. Game point saved by Fan Zhendong. Chhuani has such a clean game. Second game point here with his serve. Spinny ball, bit of side and top on it, and Fan Zhendong saves another game point. Try not to watch the other table. Well, when the crowd erupts like that, you have to wonder if Timo Boll hit a hand-switching shot again or something like that. Deuce in game number 1. Under the net, mistimed, a softer, spinny shot. Game point back to CHUANG Chih-Yuan. Wang Hao watching, building his thoughts. A timeout for CHUANG Chih-Yuan in game 1. When do we see this? Quite rare. See the glue on the edge of the racket there, freshly glued racket. And the ball has been collected from underneath CHUANG Chih-Yuan's racket. Look at the shaving down near the base of the racket, right at the handle. That can be good sometimes. I see players doing that for the backhand to create more comfort when they tuck back. Also for the service, a little bit greater flexibility in the wrist. It's funny, I have a close friend who plays the same way, but it's his brother in the corner, CHUANG Chih-Yuan, who is advising and guiding CHUANG Chih-Yuan through this match. A little bit of silence there. It seemed like a lot of thought. It seemed like more of a discussion than just simply words to follow. But nonetheless, this first game is quite important. When a player like Fan Zhendong gets confident, he is tough to stop. We've seen it within China. We've seen it around the world. So game point to Chhuani out of the timeout. What a shot, again, right near the back of the table. Fan Zhendong steals it from over, gets a full swing. Let's see if we can see this last shot. Wow, that was inside the table. Another game point saved. Oh, tries to play the inside-out forehand, the bending shot. Fan Zhendong moving around Chhuani and finding the middle. Outstanding rally. Now game point, back to Xiao Kuaizi. Oh, burned! Shoe marks! The punch back to the middle of the table. Quick reaction from Chhuani. Rocket backhand, and as soon as he turns, this is a pattern. With experience, CHUANG Chih-Yuan knows to expect it. Fourth towel break of the game, you know what the score is. No timeouts left for CHUANG Chih-Yuan. and it gets past. The opportunity is there. The table is open. Fan Zhendong with a good opportunity. Another game point for CHUANG Chih-Yuan. The service error. We've seen some tough ones today. Miu Hirano against match point, 1 point away from deuce in game 7. Chhuani back at deuce again, 4th deuce point in the first game. Oh, smart placement. I was impressed that CHUANG Chih-Yuan was able to recover with the backhand from off balance. Still keeps some power on. Where is it? Just the end of the point there. Game point, Fan Zhendong. Long serve and the follow-up attack. We're seeing a lot of power out of CHUANG Chih-Yuan. Just amazing to think about the physical fitness of Fan Zhendong. And then that somebody 16 years older than him, CHUANG Chih-Yuan handed his driver's license, Fan Zhendong being born. Once again, that cracking backhand. Chhuani plays it out to the middle of the table to stay on top of that ball. This isn't a soft block, this is a counter. This is a short block. And he has to guide it forward to keep it fast enough to be out of reach for Fan Zhendong. Game point once again, the score climbing. So we come into the 5th towel break of the game. The only score possible, of course, 15 all. When Chhuani has stepped around in that rally and played it out to the forehand side, he's won some big points. We'll see if he can get to that point in the rally once again. Fan Zhendong looking to do something else. Cracking shots back and forth. Such a difficult first attack for CHUANG Chih-Yuan, but he manages to stay on top. This ball right here, low and deep to the backhand corner. Bold play from CHUANG Chih-Yuan, but the last ball just a bit wide to the forehand and out in front. Game point back to Fan Zhendong. Long serve and a quick escape. A quick point, Fan Zhendong 17-15 in game number 1. Takes the first game. Crowd will be discussing this one as Chhuani scratches his head. Game number 2 will come up right after this. Now here's a combination that Chhuani couldn't find in the end of game 1. Fast long serve into the body. Get Fan Zhendong off balance and play it wide to the forehand. Strong start to the match so far for Chhuani. Despite that, he still is behind in games. Again, a lot of conversation with Timo Boll yesterday. He said some of his best matches that he's ever played, he's lost. One of which was against Fan Zhendong. World Championships. I think that was 2015 in Suzhou. Surely it was 4-2 for Fan Zhendong. I remember correctly, that was the one where Timo Boll had a point from the ground. Fan Zhendong finished, but Timo made the shot. Another solid start for Chhuani. Soft touch from Chhuani, leaves it over the table. Fan Zhendong caught an indecision. You know, when we think about Fan Zhendong falling under some pressure, you know, there's been some change in equipment recently. A lot of changes within the Chinese National Association. But the one player who's been in front of Fan Zhendong for the longest time is Ma Long, the only player who's kept Fan Zhendong from being #1 in the world. And it looks like Dmitry Ovcharov is the most likely to step in there. Is Ma Long slowing down? We know he just became a father, which is quite exciting. Oh, the edge of the table after all that. I just can't believe how hard they can hit the ball. The fact that the ball doesn't crack the middle of this rally. The speed on these shots. Jumps out into the body off the edge. Clever idea, but Fan Zhendong right back in. Yeah, I do wonder if the fatherhood factor for Ma Long will slow down his game a bit. Not many knew. He was pretty private about his baby on the way. But timing-wise, the Men's World Cup, that could have been a big factor. It's really interesting to see how hard these guys hit the ball from this far behind the table. The differences in the men's and women's game, it's so fascinating. Women up close, very quick off the bounce. Men dipping a bit far back, going for power. Little break here for Chhuani. Back up by 1. This has been quite a fight so far. These two have been playing almost dead even. Total points right now, Chhuani's only 1 behind. 21 to 22 points scored. Deep to the backhand corner though, Fan Zhendong finding some rhythm, some comfort on the table. Second towel break of the game and they're tied. Rare we see this, a spinny ball blocked down into the net. In a rally like this anyway. Now this is something that Timo said Waldner did incredibly well, would loop the ball with less spin than it appeared. This comes with experience, being able to disguise your spins so well. So 7 points apiece, they're tied up. I love these rallies. Just can't believe how much spin and how much pace they get on a ball that's so short in the stroke. Again, the whole body working together on this. It's not just the wrist. Obviously, the wrist has a lot to do with it. But it's not a coincidence that they look the way they do from head to toe. Good placement from Fan Zhendong. A little bit of hesitation from Chhuani. Early in the match is important. Again, the more of a lead that Fan Zhendong gets, the more confident he'll be The less tense, the smoother he'll be. The short game, the push rally, Chhuani takes it. Haven't seen a lot of forehand flips from Chhuani. Notice he keeps a little bit of side rotation on that. Comes in at the side of the ball. Make it a little less obvious how deep the bounce will be. Help keep the ball short, caress it. The big backhand brings Zhendong in over the table and follows up deep. Third towel break of the game, and it's 2 game points for Chhuani. He had more than 2 in game 1 at deuce. Trying to remember, maybe he was even up. No, I don't think he was up 10-8 in game 1. Either way, it's Zhendong with the serves here if he can get through the first. And there it is, a quality receive. CHUANG Chih-Yuan ties up the match at 1 game apiece. We will see. Anybody could beat anybody here in this tournament. That's the beauty of watching the World Tour Grand Finals. Game 3 coming up right after this. Back for game number 3. It's tied up 1 apiece. Zhendong with the serve. You can expect that Zhendong will be a little bit more tense. This is only natural when the pressure builds. In some senses, CHUANG Chih-Yuan has nothing to lose. He's expected to lose this match. Chhuani has a chance at this one. Not an easy ball after popping up the receive like that, but he was in the right place, went the right way. Light topspin there, tries to play it softly. Just under the white at the top of the net. Longer serve in that third ball with the backhand. Power, serious power. I think a lot of people forget how powerful CHUANG Chih-Yuan is. He just has a very clean game. Really exciting to watch, fighting all over. Almost. Gotta love it. Heavy, heavy side spin from in near the body. Love to see this point again. But it seems like that'll happen later. So Zhendong ties it up. First towel break of the game. The one before, the one before. I'd be curious to see Fan Zhendong's equipment right now. If I remember correctly, in Sweden he was using the Feng ball blade. Well, I could tell you what's going on, but I'll tell you after the match. Oh, bent right into the middle. Chhuani goes for the forehand shot and leaves open the forehand side. Can be tough to take the middle like that. When the program is over, you can go to ITTF.com or tv.ittf.com. Watch on ITTV all the matches streamed from tables 1 and tables 2. Table 1 and table 2, rather. Yuya Oshima and Timo Boll just finished. Definitely one I want to go back to watch. One thing CHUANG Chih-Yuan does so well is he gets in for the short game but manages to get back and keep his weight forward to stay on top of Fan Zhendong's opening attack. Little break off the net mid-rally from Fan Zhendong. For me, Chhuani to make that full forehand stroke early near the table. Quite impressive. Nice soft spin shot, plays the other way. Lets the arm drag behind. Funny, I saw CHUANG Chih-Yuan at the Collegiate National Championships inside Taiwan, despite Chhuani not competing. I think he was coaching for one of the college teams. The tongue out there, some expression. The disappointment as Chhuani lets this one get away. Has a chance to tie it up. He did, and now he does with 2 serves, but he's gonna have to get both of these points. Oh, slipped once again. That's gotta hurt the hamstring. He turns quickly. I can tell you, and you can probably tell for yourself, Fan Zhendong is not a light player. While he's muscular, he's thick and strong. I haven't had much of a chance to talk to Fan Zhendong since I arrived in Astana. I am curious though about the right knee. Actually forgot which one it was. Oh, surprise! Gets back out of the way on the backhand side, still turns and plays it down the line. Touch shot, left over the table, soft flip, quick reaction. Not an especially soft flip. The placement was good, not good enough. 3 in a row for Chhuani. Soft flip, trouble. 3rd towel break of the game. This game will only be won by the difference of 2 points. Bold pays off. Look at that fight. I don't think I've heard CHUANG Chih-Yuan shout that loud since 2014 in Yokohama at the World Team Championships after his comeback against Ju Se-hyuk, which is one of the most amazing and memorable matches. Probably a top 10 of the last 3 years. Game point to Chhuani. Long serve, but the 3rd ball does not land. There's got to be a still shot somewhere of that post. CHUANG Chih-Yuan did. It's like an ice skating move. Up on one foot, throws the head back. So deuce in game number 3. The serve on Fan Zhendong's side. For Chhuani to survive after that ball sits up a little bit high. Fan Zhendong plays a safer spin shot. Leaves it out in front. Game point to Fan Zhendong. Oh, the long push gets him. Surprise long push, a receive we don't see so often from Fan Zhendong. 12-10, Fan Zhendong takes the lead. He's up 2-1, and we'll be back for game 4 right after this.
Please welcome from Japan, Masaki Yoshida. And from China, Yuan. Russian Federation, and Lady Iran.
Back for game number 4, Chhuani with the serve. Now, depending on what happens here, those of you watching right now live know that the start of this match has been very close. And every game could have gone either way. The only one that was decided by more than 2 points was Chhuani's game number 2. So much power on that backhand. Again, Fan Zhendong the more powerful of the 2 players, but not by as much as memory might tell you. Shots that powerful, Fan Zhendong is producing more often than CHUANG Chih-Yuan. Beautiful spin shot. The placement on this one sends Chhuani on the run. Just too clean of an opening here for Fan Zhendong when he gets that big swing in. Especially with the placement, it's going to be tough for a counterattack. There's so many potential upsets in this tournament. Thinking about all the matches, again, a lot of people might recall Kirill Gerasimenko versus Tomokazu Harimoto, the Czech Republic. Wow, that backhand again. And the hand to the back. Fan Zhendong, I mean, the game he plays is so physically demanding. I was going to say Tomokazu Harimoto beats Timo Boll and everybody he plays in that tournament, but along the way, Kirill Gerasimenko was very close in Game 7 to Harimoto. Seemed like a bit of fortune there, top of the net for the last shot from Fan Zhendong. Oh, maybe not. Just so fast, my goodness.
Different camera angle changes everything. That's how hard Zhendong can hit the ball. Just can't even understand what you're looking at sometimes in real time. It needs to be slowed down. Softer spinny ball for placement. Delicate touch there on the bottom of the shoe from Zhendong. How does he get that back? Racket head up, covering the middle with the backhand side, put some side spin on it as well. Zhendong gets a full stroke here. Chhuani backing away from the table, manages to find the spot. That little extra time he gets backing off works out and pays off. Second towel break of the game. Chhuani's not going to want to lose too many points this way. He's not going to want to lose points, period. But backing off the table, the soft backhand, missing the contact. Maybe I should say 75% backhand. Here we go, the fire is back. 3-point lead. Right off the bounce, no time. Zhendong, in terms of motivation and his step out here, mentally is just in a weird place, it appears. You can see how much more rotation was on the receive than the serve itself. And already starts his stroke, gets his feet moving quickly. Zhendong looking a little bit slower from the middle here. 5 game points. Chhuani playing it right down the middle. One game point saved. Still 4 to go for CHUANG Chih-Yuan. And remember, he's got no timeouts. His was used in game number 1. But if he did, you could imagine sometime around now you'd be hearing a timeout call. Explosive forehand there from Zhendong. The backhand to backhand rally has been good for CHUANG Chih-Yuan. Just didn't pay off here. What about that forehand flip receive? Oh, and he gets away with the game, 11-8. CHUANG Chih-Yuan takes it and ties it up at 2 games apiece. No forehand flip needed. Game number 5 coming up right after this. And as time is called, we come back for game number 5. CHUANG cleaning the table quickly for a good honest bounce. Make sure there are no particles, dust particles or rubber particles on the table. Sometimes little bits of the edge of the racket come off in the push game. When someone follows through, it gets the table. Zhendong losing the last game, starting with the serve though. For a few points in a row, we started to see some real spring in the step of Zhendong. Again, his body language, the energy just doesn't seem to be the same that we're used to. Wow! To recover that ball, I thought he would have fallen down, but he gets a loop back on the table and then plays a backhand from below the table. Love to see this one again. Hooking forehand to finish. Oh, the edge of the table once again. These rallies, though, so much power going both ways. It's the second time Zhendong has escaped these fast blasting rallies with an edge ball, and quick to apologize. Towel break. The way he dropped the racket, it felt like a timeout of frustration, but we know that he's got no timeouts left. There it is, too hard. Deep to the corner and the opposite way from the middle of the table. I think Zhendong has left more skid marks on his side of the court than any player we've seen today. Just a second behind, a moment behind. That's the pace that CHUANG Chih-Yuan is playing at right now. Top edge of the racket, you could hear the frustration from CHUANG. It's quite amazing looking back on the ITTF page. Zhendong didn't win a tournament this year on the World Tour. Being number 2 in the world and playing the same year that Ma Long isn't playing much. A very memorable men's singles final from Dusseldorf, the World Championships against Ma Long. Middle of the table for CHUANG. Haven't seen much of that so far this match. Soft hands, the touch game. You know, Zhendong really took some points here quite quickly. It still doesn't feel like he's got the energy that we've seen from him, but part of that is that CHUANG Chih-Yuan's playing so well. But these points are big. To be up 3-2, CHUANG Chih-Yuan has a lot of work cut out for him. Second towel break of the game, and neither player goes for the towel. Fooled on the serve, coming in for the backhand. Trying to get over the forehand side of the table. Zhendong continuing his streak, running away with this game. Oh, long serve, but it's not placed perfectly enough. If Fan Zhendong's coming in for the backhand, that's going to be trouble, but he waits patiently at the back, turns to take the forehand. 5 game points for Fan Zhendong. Oh, the flip comes back wide to the forehand. 11-5, a dominant game for Fan Zhendong. The score says a lot more. We will see. It's a 3-2 lead for world rank number 2, Fan Zhendong. Game number 6 coming up right after this.